I think one thing that is very important in this conversation is sentiment and getting to know what God really wants for you.
Yeah.
But before we start dwelling on what God really wants for you, let's talk about the sentiments. Because sometimes we think those sentiments are things you can just close your eyes and leave them behind. Maybe I would say something about that, because sometimes those sentiments are very difficult to detach from. For instance, you've built a network, or let's say you've raised a family somewhere, or maybe you have a job that you really love, or something that before you call it sentiment, that means that thing is taking a strong part of your life.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. What are the possible sentiments that can even keep someone in Newfoundland?
Welcome to the OA Dynasty Forum.
Here at OA Dynasty Forum, we talk about the process that is involved on every journey to success, and we're there to lay it all bare.
Expect to be informed, transformed, and blessed as you come on this journey with us. Enjoy the journey.
Because sometimes people just say, Newfoundland, no, nothing can keep me in Newfoundland. But are there sentiments that can keep people in Newfoundland?
Relationships.
Can we just... Okay.
I mean, like, not just spousal relationships, like the connections that you form, like the community you are in. And it's, I was away for almost 2 years, and I mean, unfortunately for me, it was during COVID, right? And we all knew how brutal.
It was really brutal.
Like, it was brutal. And if you're now trying to settle in a new place, you don't know anybody, it's even worse. Like, no words to describe. But like, I mean, it wasn't like it was bad, but it was, you knew there was something that was missing. You couldn't go to church, online, and even, the community I was in or living in at the time, it wasn't like I formed any form of connection. Like maybe I had time to go to church maybe twice. I was still testing, getting to church. I was still testing the waters, and then boom, it was lockdown and we're all home. And I was doing online church, and I mean, I couldn't really form that social connection. And we're all social beings and wired that way. So it just kept a longing, like, oh my God. Like, if I was in Newfoundland and there's no lockdown in Newfoundland, at the time it was, things were still open in Newfoundland, whereas all over in the rest of Canada, like they were, especially in the big cities, BC, Toronto, lockdown everywhere, right? So for me, it was, and I had an opportunity to come to Newfoundland for a visit, and I saw what I was missing. I'm like, Lord,
and the fire was reignited.
Oh, I prayed like I have never, like, I think it was even during like a prayer, we had a team in church. I don't know whether it was active. Was it activity? It wasn't activity.
No, that maybe the 40 days.
Was it 40 days? I think it was that period. I remember there was something like going on in church, and I kid you, like no man's business. Like, you have to answer. And it's funny, right? Like, where your heart is again is where home is. And I mean, God promised and really that you are supposed to be here, and then and things just aligned that way. So for me, in that sense, like there was something that was clearly missing. Like I needed fellowship. I was lacking big time where I was, and I came back here, and everything just aligned. And I mean, when I got an offer, I didn't think it twice. So I'm like, yo, like, are you willing to do this time? Oh, let's do it. Like, it just happened. Like, it was easy because, I mean, even if it was the same thing I was getting back where I was, I probably would still have gone for it, right? But it got even made it better because, from here to, I'm like, yo, we stay here, let's dig the ground and plant, right? Like, so for me, I mean, sentiments, like, I'll go for it. And then the community, right, to like, your spiritual health is very, very important. So when you're being fed, you have all that support, and like, that if anything happens, I mean, my mom was going to like, if you cough now, but who's going to come and meet you in that your apartment down in BC, right? Like, I mean, and here, if anything happens to me,
you know where to go.
I'm dying. Like 4 or 5 people, will be there, and that's just amazing. Like for me, it actually means a lot.
And that's an important part of this conversation today, because sometimes it's not all about money. Because most people go and get the big job, the big money. one thing she mentioned is about the church community. I'm just going to throw it open there. Do we have anyone that shares the same kind of sentiment about strong church community
I do.
You didn't even let me finish.
It's
burning.
Yeah, that's because well, of course, if you don't know, I'm originally from Nigeria. So I moved to the UK for my master's, and I think while I was in the UK, I was traveling 1 hour every Sunday to church, from Leeds to Manchester every Sunday. So with that experience, I made up my mind that if I'm going to relocate again, church, because I know how it is.
There was no church in Leeds.
Well, my church, like.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, like if I'm going to ever relocate, that would be a major part of, So when I came here, and I was just like, okay, now that I'm in St. John's, where would I worship and all that? And my husband had been going to, CMFI, and like for someone that had my kind of background, it was not, I wouldn't say it was very easy for me integrating into the church, but when I came in and I saw the word of God, like, to be honest with you, there is genuine, like, if you're coming to Newfoundland, just like you have a church, like because where you are in a place where I know that you can't see the heart of people, but I feel that Bible says that by their fruit you will know them. I'm someone, for one, I don't know how to pretend. Like, if I'm digging you, that's how they say it in Newfoundland. If I'm digging you, you know. If I'm not,
if they are on digging you,
you know. So that's how it is, and I feel that that genuine love. Like, to be honest, I feel it in Newfoundland, and I don't know, like the people I roll with and all that. So I don't know, maybe because I will be very, very careful to leave Newfoundland because at the end of the day, because everything actually, our spiritual life dictates, our whole being, right? So for me, that church community is very, very important, and it's something that I really, it's also a blessing to see that kind of community where you are home away from home, if you know what I mean. So so that's something that
that's Christian Missionary Fellowship International.
Yes.
Does anyone else share that sentiment? The church community.
I'll kind of play devil's advocate. I kind of play devil's advocate here. Okay, so I definitely share that sentiment very deeply, to a point where it pains me. I'm just being honest, like, to a point where it pains me. But okay, so finishing from school, I made up my mind about, like, I realized while I was in school that St. John's is a smaller city, and by virtue of the fact that it is smaller, relative to a lot of cities in Canada, there's a tendency for you to limit what you see in St. John's. So I realized that like a couple of months after I came here. So what I did, I always spoke with friends I had outside of Newfoundland, just to get motivation, like, so I don't limit what I see with just what I see here. So even because I mean there are people who are graduating from school. I was speaking to some people while I was in school. Some people were writing certification exams. And when you're talking to some other set of people, they are completely oblivious to that. You understand? Because St. John's is all they see. Right? And again, the people writing those exams, they're not doing it because they want to leave St. John's. Right? Not necessarily. They might be doing it to become the best candidate for positions here. Right? So I'm kind of trying to play the devil's advocate here. Yes, it's it's hard to, especially when you've built a life here, basically, having building a life is not just having a family. It's not just buying a house. You understand? It's actually built, like, being a part of a community. Okay, maybe I'm probably the only one here who has lived outside of St. John's for a period of time. So I kind of lived in Cabernet for a while. Yeah, for the period I was there. Yes, I kind of.
That's a town in Newfoundland.
It's a town in Newfoundland. And I started attending a church there and all that, getting to know people getting to know me and things like that. actually when I was living there, I felt awkward. Like it just somehow. Yes, I knew I didn't want to live in the remote part of Newfoundland, but I'd already built a life there, right? So it just felt somehow living there. But the thing is, I've come to realize sometimes, yes, of course, you want to be at peace with any decision you're making.
Very important.
But sometimes you might not. For example, Amy, you would have never known whether you would have liked BC until you went.
Yeah.
Right? You just would have never known. Right? Like me, I've visited Toronto, Ottawa. I will never live in Ontario. There's no question. No question. I don't like the vibe at all. There's no question. Right? Because I've been there, I've driven around there. It doesn't sit right with me at all. I can't explain it if you ask me. I can't explain it.
The same sense.
I just can't explain it.
I can't leave Toronto.
It's just not something
maybe
I just
like
want.
Bonn, all those inner cities.
It doesn't. No. Yeah, no. It doesn't sit well with me. It just doesn't sit well with me. So I'm just trying to kind of trying to strike a balance, if I may. Like everyone is going to approach this thing in different ways, right? Yeah. Everyone will approach it in a different way, right? I mean, I know people who, yes, I know they never really, built a life here. They just, finished, left, and all that. And now, for some people, they knew already. By the time they were in school, they knew exactly what they wanted to do. For some people, we just wanted to finish, get your PR. For some people, they knew precisely what they wanted to do, and they knew what they were looking for was not here. So there was they exactly. Yeah. So to me, it's more of like know what you want and know why you even want it.
Exactly.
Know why you, not because of your friends.
Exactly. Know why you want that thing. You understand? Because everyone, I know somebody who moved. He had not just personal reasons, family reasons. He was thinking about his mom passed, his dad is really old, has siblings, he's the first child. He's thinking of I came to Canada, I have to hit the ground running. You understand? So he in his mind, I don't have time. You understand? So so it's kind of a thing. Different people assess their situation and make that decision. And again, like I always say, at some point you can build yourself to a point where you can decide, Newfoundland, I want to live there. And you move. That's where it's.
Yeah, because I've had people actually, not just people, I've had indigenous people relocate from bigger cities to these places, and they're flooding in every day. But when you look at them, you realize that these people have built their career and have established themselves, and they felt like, I'm done with the hustling and of the big city, and then they are coming back here to get to a lower pace and just have fun with life, right? So it all depends.
So to our viewers at home, what we are discussing is just personal experiences. So this is not what you must do. So people are just sharing what Newfoundland has been to them, their experiences, their sentiments, and things like that. Someone actually told me, what are you going to do in Newfoundland? It's dry. It's not bubbly.
Depends on the lifestyle.
Someone actually told me that.
I think for me, God took me through a journey, and I say God took me through a journey because when I came to Canada first in 2010, the 2009, the first province I went to was PEI. PEI is so small that if you don't take time, you won't see beyond anything. And then when I came to Newfoundland, I just realized how small PEI was. But before I settled in Newfoundland, I lived in Brampton. And I just watched all my aunties and my uncle live from hand to mouth. And it was a lifestyle of this person has a funeral, this person has a party this weekend, and that was the lifestyle. You go to Facebook, if you're in Ghana, you'll be looking at yourself going like, wow, these people are living life. But when you go to the root of the matter, and I'm hearing conversations with my dad and them, and it's like, there's so much debt around them. Then I came to live in Newfoundland, and I went back and I'm visiting people that I know. And I look at the size of the apartment, and I'm actually paying this much money for this. And I'm looking at the life that I want. I want a life where there's space. I want to be able to stretch my hand to the ceiling and I'm not touching it. like that kind of thing, and that's my personal preference.
Yeah.
Right now I have a career that I can work anywhere.
Yeah.
Halifax, Calgary, Toronto, anywhere I want to work, but there's still this maybe my mind cannot see past my comfort zone, and I think that's what it is. For most people, they come here and this is not the comfort zone, they move for a comfort zone. Some people actually love the hustle and bustle life, like nightlife everywhere is loud, you know, you're seeing cars, the skyscrapers and all that. That's how people are built, and I'm not taking that away from them. So again, this is our personal experience. This is what works for us, and if we love it and we want to be here, and we are thriving here, right? But I don't want somebody, the narrative of if you're in Newfoundland, you can't make it.
No,
in fact,
that's like we're here to tell you something.
That's the purpose of
I want to say something to one also said. I remember having a conversation with another friend in our workplace about why people are not even taking certifications, and if you tell them to take certifications, they'll tell you they're in Newfoundland, blah blah. It doesn't matter. Wherever province they find themselves, they'll still feel that same way. It's a mindset. It has nothing to do with what province they are in. It's just their mindset. I think now, and I ask myself, what is the best position I can put myself in that I can be the CEO of my company? I'm sorry, Adina, I'm coming for you. That's the mindset I'm working with. And I always say it to people and they laugh at me, but I'm looking at the CEO of NASDAQ and I'm like, that's where I want to be. What will prevent me from taking those certifications? I'll take as many certifications as I can to prepare myself to be there, right? I know she's like, are you really saying it? I am saying it. But that's it. It doesn't matter what province you are in. You will still remain the same way. Like it is.
Sorry.
The individual.
I don't mean. So the context of that certification I mentioned was, for example, there was time which was writing an exam, and because it's not the positions that demand that exam are not very prevalent here. So you're not going to see as many people writing it that will give you motivation to do this. Right. So I mean, I was speaking with someone, what you know Bright now. And Bright was just telling me, he was like, that even with the experience and thing, you know, Bright can be very funny. Like with the experience he has, when he sees all these young boys finishing from university in Ontario and they're telling him how much they're earning, he's like, what? That he chose the wrong career. And it's not that. And it's not that. It's just the motivation you're going to get. I mean, for example, if you're living in Ontario, for example, you're going to see people competing for jobs in Google, in Microsoft. Their motivation is different. You understand? So it's just, even if you don't want to work in Google, it's just, if you have that mindset of, tomorrow I want to be able to compete with people in Google. I want to be in that position where I can compete with somebody who's in Amazon. Even if you're working in Verafin, you're not thinking the same as everybody working in Verafin. Right? You're not thinking, you're not doing the same thing, you're not sitting down and writing certifications.
Because this is going to be very relevant for people that just make decisions based on the earnings, right? Like, oh, I'm going to Toronto because I got a job that's $70,000. What's it called now? $70,000, and per year, right?
Just people somebody think like 7,000, like 70,000 in a month.
Let's go there.
I love
because
you will do that job.
I want the job.
Yes. Certification. We will create a certification.
Send me anywhere.
Let's go there.
Right. We all live in Newfoundland, and for some people that have been, hear me, and you visited, and have, I don't know, but we're doing it, right? We're doing it. All right. So, anyways, so let's just use a figure, say 60,000, for example. For someone who earns 60,000 in Newfoundland, St. John's, and someone in Toronto or in BC who earns 60,000, if you want to compare their life, because basically most times we hear things like, oh, I'm moving because the pay is this, right? Not putting into factor many other things, right? So,
I think Ontario is mostly, housing is expensive, but standard of living is cheaper. So gas, food, all that is cheaper, but the housing is expensive. Where on this end, food is relatively expensive. It depends on what you're eating. If you decide to do organic, healthy, all those people, it will be expensive. But McDonald's is the same price everywhere. A&W is the same price everywhere.
You're going to be eating nuggets morning, afternoon.
Chicken nuggets in McDonald's.
But you all cooked meals, healthy meals. If you're going with healthy, you'll be fine.
I think you'll be fine.
But if you're going to do vegetarian, organic, I don't know about that.
Here is way expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
Because
So now,
if you're adding the taxation
of
all those
tax.
things, you know, between here and other places, you find that you're paying a little bit more for it here than in other places.
So what people should know is that we pay a lot of taxes in Newfoundland.
No,
I think
more
Newfoundland
taxes.
and PEI
Newfoundland and PEI
paid maybe 15.
Yeah,
I think so.
I am plagued by a compulsive disorder of researching into things. And I've researched into Canada a lot to a point where it's painful. One of the reasons why a place like BC is completely out of the question, Ontario out of the question, Saskatchewan because of the weather out of the question.
Saskatchewan just told to meat.
Manitoba out of the question. For me, just a personal choice. Alberta is the only place where I've actually logically, this is the only place, even if I decide to live in Newfoundland, this is the only place I can logically move to. Now, Newfoundland, there are a lot of factors you look at. Somebody earning 60K in Newfoundland is wealthy compared to somebody earning 100,000 in Vancouver. Like, you have money. Like, you're wealthy. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean,
very true.
And it's important that we're putting that out there.
Yes,
so that people don't just measure it that this person is earning 100.
To even start to begin to be comfortable in Vancouver, you can pay like 200K upwards. I mean, to be comfortable, not that you are now basking. No. To even start getting comfortable,
To begin like
to start life, you earn like 200,000. I mean, you look at the house. You can't buy a house in Vancouver, not even anywhere around.
In the whole of BC.
In the whole of, I'm serious. It's ridiculous. I mean, people. You have to be earning. Like, I mean, the house this house. If you find this house in Vancouver and they tell you the price, you will laugh around. It's ridiculous. In Toronto, because I was just showing it, because I do all this, I just look at houses in different parts of Canada. How much are these houses there? The same, square meter and all that. You saw one tiny hut in Toronto. It's a hut as far as I'm concerned. 1.3 million. And like somebody could be in Toronto, probably have left Newfoundland, where a job there was earning 80,000. To take a job there is earning 120,000, and he has to enter, train for 1 hour just to come there, just to earn 120. I'm like, the quality of life is not worth it. So these are things you look at and say, okay, we were in Quebec 2 years ago, and we entered into a Walmart, and we bought something, and we come out, and we came out, we're like, did we cheat these people? Like, what's going on here?
Like, did we pay for something?
Is there something we didn't pay for? Now, these are just, perspective, right? And you look at like, okay, that means we're really paying a lot of taxes in Newfoundland.
Yeah, we are.
You know, because we came out, we're like, what's going on here? We went out to eat, they gave us bill, we're wondering, what's going on? I mean, it was so close to the price of the item. And we're like, what's going on here? So these are, and again, am I saying I'm going to live in Montreal? I mean, I cannot speak French to begin with. I'm just disqualified. So, but these are things that, you just don't want to look at, just, how much you're paying me, is it a bubbling city? I mean, the quality of life is another thing you want to look into. I mean, you want to settle for a specific amount rather than going somewhere and more than half of that is going to somebody else.
Exactly.
And again, you might be living in all these places and it's good for you.
Yeah.
You're just saying this.
Exactly.
You're not saying.
Absolutely. It's just a decision individuals. Really
and it's good.
At.
It's good that because at the end of the day, people outside Canada get to hear more about those places than Newfoundland, right?
Absolutely.
So what we are doing is to bring Newfoundland forward.
And I just wanted to follow up on that, like. It's relative if you're single and if you're married. Those are things that you need to put into consideration. Like, okay, I'm earning 60K, I'm single, I'm balling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, but I have a family, you know, a family of 3, 4. Like you have to put a lot of things into perspective before you make those decisions and say, oh, like I'm earning 60K now and I'm on top of the world. Hell no, if you're a family of more than 3, like it's gonna suffer.
So what we are trying to do at this point is to just let you guys know that different stroke for different folks. You just have to look at your situation. You know, what is it that that is good for me at this time, you know, the ties, the families, and you know, the career progression, like she said, you know, and the comfort. She wants to live in a large expanse of life. And you can get that easily.
Exactly. It's very, you know, it's very, very key. That's right. Because also it's very important for me as well to, you know, you want to live in a place that you call your home, and you don't necessarily want to pay through your nose, you know, to get that.
Case in point, to rent a single 1-bedroom apartment, like if you're living in Victoria, BC, you look at like. I was sharing, I wasn't living alone, but I'm like, I researched into living because I see salary, I see where I'm going to stay. But I give myself some brain. Right? So, like, if I was going to not share with someone, I'm going to be looking at like 1,400.
Wow.
For a single apartment, just 1 room, 1 bedroom. I was looking at 1,400.
That's a mortgage.
Yes. Aside that, that's a mortgage. In Newfoundland, you can get like maybe a very good 4-bedroom or 3-bedroom at that price.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, Victoria is like balling. Like for the people that have money to retire, like they go there to retire. So you have like own money seated there, like so. You have to put that into perspective. So if you want to live, you know, apartment, high rise, you have a lot of that, like close to the marina. Your money should be close to the marina. Like you would
4K for
very
4K, 5K for rent.
But you can get a whole house for 1,400 like on one day, right? So
okay, so we'll be wrapping up this session, and we'll continue shortly.